I see this as kind of like a trend on social media platforms where they talk about products that are popular in Korea, but I wanted to switch the roles up a little bit and do Western products that are popular in Korea. I wanted to talk about some of the Western products I see pop up a lot on Glowpic. The cool thing about Glowpic is they're a really good aggregate for consumer reviews, and they have a ton of information on there. So I went through and I hunted for the Western products that had some of the most reviews, won the most awards, and seemed to have the most positive thoughts on. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I am gonna start this video off with a bang because I think this first product I'm gonna be talking about has won the most awards in a row, to be honest, on Glowpic, and that is the Clinique. Wow. And that is the Clinique Cheek Pop. This is placed 16 times, and I find for very good reason. Now, I have two of the newer shades here. I have the Pink Honey Pop and I have Black Honey Pop. So both of these are gonna be very universally flattering shades, which, by the way, I don't know if I've ever defined what I mean by that. I just mean it shows up on more skin tones and that there's more flexibility when it comes to either layering up, building it, shearing it out, so more universally friendly, if that makes sense. Now, throughout the years, obviously, there's been a ton of shades, and some of the more popular shades in Korea have been Peach Pop, Pink Pop, and Melon Pop. A lot of the positive reviews on this blush talked about the natural look of it, and I think, again, that goes towards saying it could be subtle or built up, and I think it's because these are poured and baked into the pans versus just being pressed. So there's a bit more of that natural finish to it. Some of the cons that I saw across the reviews are the price point and also that these don't last as long. I actually think that's more down to the base of your makeup and how you apply it than the actual blush products themselves. Because like I said, I do think these are very beautiful blush products. But yeah, I personally love these. I think they're beautiful. And I really like these two new shades. So if you're looking for trying these out, definitely recommend. This guy is so popular, it placed 13 times, and that is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. I actually went and picked this up for this video. I have used this throughout the years, and I've actually talked about it. It's probably been in some of my favorites videos, but I didn't have a fresh tube of it, so I went to Ulta and picked up a fresh tube. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a long time to figure out my shade, but I found it. And it is Cafe con Leche, and I actually think this is a really good shade for me right now because I am a little bit more tan because it is the summertime. But a lot of the pros of this are it does have that radiance to it, so again, it looks a little bit more natural. It doesn't just dry down and look flat on the skin. Since this is a little bit more dynamic, I find this really good for my under eye area, and I am someone who has very dry under eyes, so I am very particular when it comes to my concealer, and now that I have a fresh tube of this, I forgot how much I love this, and this is definitely gonna go into my daily rotation again. But some of the cons that I did see actually were kind of counterintuitive to this being radiant. They actually find it drying. I personally, like I said, don't find it dry on my dry skin, but because it is more high coverage, you do maybe see it on the skin more, so I'm not really sure. But for the most part, this is very positive reviews, and I can definitely see why. I think it's only appropriate that I go for this guy since I just talked about the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, and that is the Nars Pot Concealer. This is placed 10 times, and again, this is one of my favorite concealers. I can definitely see why this is popular. Now, pros of this are it's buildable, it's high coverage, and it has good blendability to it, and I would definitely agree. However, I will say this is not the concealer I use under my eyes. This really doesn't ever touch my under eyes. I mainly use this for higher coverage areas like covering acne, dark spots, and my age spot on the side of my face. So this is really good when you apply it, let it dry down a little bit, and then blend out the edges, and it just really is seamless. But it is a bit dry for me to use on my under eyes, which is the cons that I've seen mostly pop up when it comes to negative reviews around this pot concealer. The Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray has placed 12 times. The main pros that I've seen about this are it helps with oil control, and it obviously helps with your makeup lasting longer. I use this all the time. I think it's great for kind of sealing down your makeup and kind of making your makeup look a little bit more melted into the skin and more natural. I don't find this overly matte on my dry skin type. I just feel like it just cuts down on the powderiness, helps everything blend together, and it just makes my makeup last longer, so I really like it. The most common con that I saw about this was actually the smell, which I agree with. I don't really care for the smell of this. It's not super unpleasant, but it's also not pleasant, but it does go away. I just thought that was kind of funny because I was like, you know what? I don't like the smell of that either, but it performs so nicely, I'll take it. Let's go into some brow products because I am obsessed with these, and these are the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencils. These have placed only 3 times, which I actually think is the lowest amount of placing out of all of these products in this video, but to be fair, these are somewhat newer for Glow Pick, and I would not be surprised to see these win more awards in the future. I actually use a couple different shades of these. I use shades 3, 4.5, and 5. I like to mix and match depending on what my makeup look is. It just gives me more flexibility if I want a bolder brow, if I want a softer brow. The pros of this that I saw were that it's obviously precise. The tip of this is very fine, so you really can draw those like fine point hairs through your brows if you want a very natural look. And this also applies really nicely. It's kind of a mix between like soft and hard. It's not so soft where it just like melts into your brows, but it's also not so hard where it's like ripping your skin as you're applying it. What I refer to as like the Goldilocks of texture. And the cons that I saw with this are it's a little bit of product for the amount of money, and actually I do agree with that. Although I am aware that I am not the average makeup user. I am someone who wears a lot more makeup than probably the standard user uses. So I definitely see the argument, but I do think that people's eyebrow pencils would probably last longer than mine. Let's talk about another Benefit product, which is the Benefit Porefessional Primer. This is placed 12 times, and the pros of this are it obviously minimizes the pores, it has a silky finish, and it helps the makeup last longer. However, some of the cons with this kind of involved it being a silicone-based primer. So some people can find this overly drying and that it pills on the skin. I have dry skin. I actually don't find this too overly drying, but again, I think it comes down to the prep work. And when it comes to pilling of the product, I use a very, very small amount of this. I use a literal pea-sized amount of this on the entirety of my face, and I make sure to rub it in really well. So this is definitely a little bit goes a long way. So maybe just use this where you tend to get shinier or oilier throughout the day. I like this. I will say there are a lot of great dupes out there. So if you are more budget conscious, Korea Beauty has a lot of other alternatives. However, the OG is really great. Last but certainly not least, we have the Dior Lip Glow, which is placed 5 times. I do have another tube of this floating around somewhere, but this is the tube that I'm like pretty much at the bottom of. So the fact that I've used a whole tube of something, I think says a lot about that product. This is popular because it is a bit more of a natural looking lip. It's moisturizing, it's a low maintenance lip product you can just apply and go. Some of the biggest cons that I did see with this is it is expensive, and again, that is something that I do agree with. This is a pricey lip product, and I have shared some dupes with this throughout the years and actually recently in some of my more recent videos. So there are other alternatives. I will say though, there's nothing that is an exact dupe to this. This is kind of a unique product in the sense it gives you the ultimate balmy, shiny lip look that's gonna be flattering for a lot of different skin tones because it does have a bit of that like color adjusting element to it. But I totally understand that this is an expensive product. It is Dior. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys want a part 2 or if you want me to do a video like this for Western skincare, because there's definitely a lot of those products that I see pop up on the award-winning list in Korea. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think, what you'd like to see, and your thoughts on some of these products, because I know they're very popular just kind of everywhere, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have tried them, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And as always, I hope you guys are happy and healthy, and don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!